Indeed, indeed. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope you can hear me. Hope everybody's well. My poet in the house. My poet in the house. AKA Alex Murdoch, the Mad Poet, whatever you want to call me. It all works. It all works. You know, hoorah, and all those things. Yeah, man. Just here. Thought, the period's over. The niceties type of period with the um, holidays out the way, etc., etc. And I'm sure people are just getting back into the swing of things, getting back to work, and in different capacities, of course. But hope you're all doing well and having a fun time of it. We all try to, at least I do try to make the experience fun, regardless of what the situation is. That's my thing. Have some fun with it. Even if it's a 9 to 5, go out there and do this and make it interesting. If nobody else, at least for yourself, because at the end of the day, man, you got to do this bloody thing. And if it's not really hitting right, you've got to make it hit right, sort of thing. That's the way I like to think about it. So I go about my way, just that's become sort of like a catchphrase of mine, without actually trying. Have fun with it. But outside of that, just doing what I do, having fun with it, here and there, sharing a few words on stage, performing, and outside of that, creating, working myself in different capacities, and I'm just making ends meet as we do. Projects, right? Let's start with what's already been. Now I would show you another copy of something, but I don't actually have that one in store. Well, any other copies of that, but I do have this. Now this is not just a copy. This is the prototype, the first ever of this version that I ever had. And man, that was a chapter in itself, just getting this book. And at the time, it was the best creation design, because I do everything myself, so it was the best one I ever sort of kind of put together. And I was thinking to myself, oh, that's live, sort of thing. And as you know, you sort of grow, and next thing you know, you're in a space where um, those things you outgrow where you've been, so to speak. And I suppose this is the process that's happened. But at the same time, the book has this cover, in terms of the design of it, has evolved over the years. But where I learned so much more, and I improve on the things that I have on the cover. So it's, if you find it online, it's totally different. Well, of course, the words and the expression and things that I have inside there, that stays, that stays. And yeah, man, this is I suppose you could say, a cornerstone of this life I lead as a creator, as a writer. And yeah, it was a great chapter. It was a great chapter. So I just wanted to share this one for sure before I move on to, and I have to add as well. This was the first ever theme. So as you know, well, I'm going to move on to show you the next one, but this is the first ever theme. And what I mean by that is, it's called Poetry Journal, right? And to me, at the time, that was a theme. That was a theme. That's where I started. Before, where poetry is concerned, before anything else, it was Poetry Journal. Poetry Journal. And, you know, that means a lot to me because, like I said, cornerstone, right? And then I moved on, and then I ended up here. Here. Now, of all the books I have, I'd say, obviously, this is competing. And truth be told, these are the last two that came out that I'm going to show you the next one to come. But this one is, I've always loved this cover. Loved this cover. And people that have purchased this book, they've always gravitated to this cover and captivated by it as well. For me, it's just, and it just sums up, you know, my poet and the idea of a poetry fair, you know. I mean, don't you think? I do. I do, for sure. For sure. So, yeah, man, I really love this cover. And more than anything, what's inside is so much more meaningful when it comes to me, for sure. For sure. As you'd imagine. As you'd imagine. And then, and then, the last scene, the last one that came, this one. This is the poetry event. And I think I'm hiding it there. So you have Ramblings of a Madman, followed by Chaotic Ramblings. And of course, you'd imagine, like anything I do, you know, there's growth, there's transitions, there's understanding, there's revelations. So this is me taking people on a journey, as well as sharing, you know, where I've been, my skills, my skill set, my ability when it comes to putting on with poetry, sort of thing. So it means a lot to me, you know what I mean? And yeah, I take this personal. Those are two. So like I was saying, the current theme at the moment, as far as poetry and publishing is concerned, is poetry event. Poetry event. And as you've seen, there's two of them so far, but there's a third one on the way. And this will be out in the summer. This will be out in the summer, and I'm really looking forward to sharing this one, because this will, and you know, it still means a lot because this will be the last poetry event that I'm looking to that I will be doing per se. So after this last one this summer, there will be no more. poetry events. Now you may ask, what's next? Well, there's something next. I'll say that. I'll say that. And I'm looking forward to it. Something different, something new. But at the same time, poetry event is very present, but it means so much because it's like I said, it's another cornerstone, and it sort of sums up that well, before I transitioned to something else, I was this, before I was that, or what is coming next. So it just means I take it personal. Take it personal, as you're supposed to. This is your livelihood. This is your work. So how could you not? I guess that's the question, really. How could you not? So perhaps that's me should stay in the office a little bit, but I think you should always also take pride in the fact that you do take this personal. You know, um, at least for myself. So I just keep it moving. But man, as I said at the beginning, having fun with it. And these things, I call them things, but really, I'll be like, behind the scenes, I'll be like my babies. um, no man, they do mean a lot to me, um, and I suppose I don't willy nilly about what I do when it comes to, for one, art, or when it comes to writing. How can you be? You know, how can that be per se? I suppose that's the way I look at it. So it's important for me to just get this right, just get it right before I sort of transition or give it to somebody else. Just got to know that, okay, it's ready, it's cooked, and when you get it, it just be like, hey, I'll live with the consequence, whether it gravitates with you or whether it doesn't. It's just I suppose you get what you get, but it would not be a thing where you didn't, I didn't do what I was supposed to do in terms of being sincere with my expressions, my ideals, and things I speak about, because this is a representation of my culture, my brand, my beliefs. I'm not religious, but to a certain degree, this is somewhat my religion, you know, on a personal scale, sort of thing, or you on a micro scale, this is sort of like my protocol to life, so to speak. Yeah, that was yeah. So this is sort of like my protocol to life, so to speak. So there's many things at play when it comes to creating, expressing, pertaining to artistry, regardless of what discipline you're into. Um, it's so important to get that right. I'm kind of messing up my shirt right now, but that's where I'm at with it, so to speak. Um, let me share something with you. Let me share something with you. Mhm. me share you something. Hold on a second. Do you believe we have a guest? Just bear with me. Mm-hmm. Just gathering the peas for today. And there he is, the man of the minute, man of the hour, man of the month, man of Christmas, man of the past. Mr. Strings in the house.
Yes, sir. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, my bro. Happy New Year. Good to see ya. How you doing?
I'm just glad I made it through Christmas,
Yo, it's that bad, yeah?
bro. People really show you who they are when there's times of
Oh dear.
success. Mm.
Oh dear.
How are you?
Hey, you know me, man. Just I'm flowing, man. I'm flowing. That's all you can ask for.
True.
That's all you can ask for, man. But I'm positive. I was just here warming up the floor while you prepared, just sharing, just doing the dues for the P for the work.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Just bringing them out, bringing them out, bringing them out. As you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Let them know.
Yeah. I was sharing that this is the first ever one that came. This is like the prototype for this book. So if you see,
Yeah. See that cover? Yeah.
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 Yeah, man. So that was the
Excited for
first
you,
ever
man.
one that came. And obviously at the time that was like the best thing I ever seen as far as my
Right.
designing go. So it just stood out to me. I was like, "Ooh, man!" But ever since then, I'm like, "Oh Lord, have mercy." Oh no, they didn't. You
What
get
made
me?
you go with the covers now?
Uh,
What attracted you to the covers you have now?
it's more the theme. Truth be told, it's more related to the theme and
Mhm.
just who I am as a creator. With the it's different. It's different themes. So the theme's gonna change unless it becomes a standalone or something like that. But
Mhm.
this is more like a poetry journal. So there's actually two of these. This is the second one. So this is Growing Pains. But before
Okay.
that, there was Dream Imagine Express. Poetry journal, Dream Imagine Express. That's the first ever one that came out. That was in 2019. This one came out in 2020 or 2022. I think it's 2022. Yeah, you lose track after a while. But yeah, I think it was 2022. And or just before, but yeah, yeah, and then and also it's more relate, well, it's more relative to my transitions as I grow and more reflective of where I am and or yeah, where I am pretty much. So now from poetry journal we go to poetry fair, which is another theme. So now it's like it's currently two, but as I'm not sure if I mentioned, but there's a third one which is going to be this summer,
Yes.
and that will be the last one. So it's quite a special one as well. That'll be the last poetry event I'll do
But
before moving on
isn't
to
it nice
something else.
when you close that chapter?
Huh?
Don't you find it nice when you're closing a chapter?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at the same time, you always respect it because it was an experience. It's like you look back, it's like, man, that stays with you. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's still positive to close because that means you're sort of opening another door to something new.
Right.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and it means a lot, man. It's kind of like the past, present, and the future. It all stands for something.
God.
It's all important to you, sort of thing. So I'm just going about building, and it's interesting because sometimes with especially with art, you don't know where it's gonna take you because when I think about how this happened to some of the greats,
Yeah.
some of these people weren't really acknowledged during their time. It's
Yeah.
when they passed away that people really gave them grace, gave them flowers, so to speak. So you don't know what's going to happen in the future where you turn up and your work, people are starting to sort of taking your work to the lab,
Yeah.
ergo a school, to kind of break down some of the mountains that you've climbed as far as literature is concerned,
Hmm.
and just sharing with people. But the only thing you can do is control what you can control. And for me personally, that's just to sort of stay true and respect the craft, and just do it to the best of your ability, and never shy away. Just keep growing.
Yeah.
That's the way, man. That's the only way. That's the way. Strings, you ready?
Yeah. Let's get it.
All right. Peace for ya. Well, a quote, but it's a mouthful. This quote, so hopefully you have enough context. An appetite to be great got me taking pride to never be late with the pace, despite seldom seeing grey. Picture landslide in my way, like a rice on a plate. Picture free flow like a sleigh. Mental mental unconscious scheming in my way. I rock it live because ambition in my face. Extra gravy, making taste yet somewhat so dire. Note to self needs replace. Reading between the small print was a type of skill. The will to be more than I've ever been had always been there. Never had awareness, so I had to hear from within. Picture pin like syringe dipping into the nervous got my system in a pinch. Cringing if the sight never bears the madness like blues TV. To the skies, that's where I aim to be. In the palm of my hands, like I made me. To the rafters and back like a Roman cyclops century. All I ever sought in life was to soar, looking in the mirror like Oliver. Can I have some more? It's 21 hours. Can I have some more? I think I missed that one. Yeah, that was a thesis for today.
Yeah. No. Great to start. Really. Um. I feel this year is all about uh, paying more attention to the journey,
Yeah, man.
like really paying attention to it, not just because we're all trying to get somewhere. That's evident. Everyone's always talking about what it is that they want to achieve, but
Yeah.
like ignoring the journey um, comes at a price, man. Really
Mm,
comes at a price. So
it does, man. It does. Um, let's unpack things.
Mm.
I guess we could start with this piece. Any thoughts?
Um, I think that's what comes to mind. Just hearing you navigate. Um, a few gems in there, of course. Um, what was that one? Yeah, didn't have awareness, so I had to look within. And the bar about the syringe got your nervous system in a pinch is like, yeah, these are real things that um, are just helping you. It's like you're trying to grasp where you are
Yeah,
and what comes with that as you do go within. Um, as we know already, it's not a nice place if you haven't been there enough to know what's going on. Um, so everything just feels surface. Um, and I always love the analogy of life is kind of like feeling your way through the dark.
yeah,
And most people don't like the dark, so they tend to distract themselves with whatever and however necessary to get whatever glimpses of light, to
hmm
just focus on that. And ironically, it's the phone. uh, Let me
yeah,
stay on this source of light for as long as possible, um, until your phone dies and you're like, oh, uh, I forgot this is what this is like. I got to figure out how to navigate through all this. Um,
yeah.
and you're just following crazy. You're just following voices, man. You're following voices, but which
Mm.
one do you follow? No, pick me, pick me, pick me. But the phone or the socials or whatever tells me no. I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you how to be in a relationship. I'll tell you what makes you happy.
Uh-oh.
If you buy my course.
Uh-oh. Oh dear.
So bit of a theory there, but yeah, man, it makes sense why you couldn't put that in a few lines either. So appreciate it.
It's interesting because even from what you said, the dark, people don't like the dark. And it got me thinking, people that can't, people obviously you can't see in the dark. And more times than not, when you can't see or, it's kind of like, somebody that's discombobulated. Naturally the brain tries to force you to the ground.
Mm,
So that's inertia in itself, actually trying to stay afloat and just actually walk normal. Because when you're in the dark and you can't see anything, the brain goes into safe mode and it tries to force you to the ground.
yeah.
That's the last thing you want to do when you're in the dark, go to the ground. So you're there fighting, sort of thing. So I guess I mentioned that because, you sort of fighting yourself. And I think that's an analogy somewhat for ambition. I can use another one to sort of kind of sum up what I mean by that. If you think about somebody losing weight, that's the last thing the body wants because you want to stay in safe zone. Yes, you might lose the weight, but if you don't stay consistent, your body's going to force you to go back to the weight that you were because that's safe. You know what I mean? So that's another form of inertia. In essence, you're fighting again. So, man, you pay enough attention, you start to realize that most things is a fight, or it takes sacrifice, like you just mentioned. It's a purpose. It's a purpose. Part of the reason, this line, I'll read it for you again. Um, Picture pin like syringe dipping into the nervous, got my system in a pinch. I guess what I was thinking was part of that was is sort of the me getting closer to the idea of microscope. So you paste yourself on the strand, take it from your body, and you put it on underneath the microscope, and you have a look. But first, you have to take that pinch with a syringe and take it out from you and put it in a little plast. But you paste it essentially, and then you put it underneath the microscope. So that's sort of like kind of what I was alluding to, but it's a bit broader than that. But that's one of the inspiring ideals why I created that line. Yeah, man. But there's there's so many things in there, and I've always liked the idea of Oliver asking for more. Because here's a guy who's supposed to be poor, and he's supposed to fit in like everybody else, just take what you get and move on. But he's so bloody, he's got this bravado in him where he dared to come back and ask for more, sort of thing. And I think that just sort of that's just abundance in essence. That's just abundance in a place that, in the last place that you'd expect to see it, sort of thing. Because everybody knows whatever they get is scarce, and they're not really expecting much from it. But this one guy, he didn't know any better, and that's to his fortune, perhaps. He didn't know any better. He might not get it today, but I think he'll get it. I think he'll get it. One way or another, he'll figure it out. In essence. So, can I have some more?
Yeah, probably why that is. So I say that even now, um, in reference, but I think is it safe to say that's a follow up with, I don't know where the line fits in. Rice looking at the landscape on the plate. Did I quote that right?
Yeah,
Odd.
yeah, I did, yeah, I did put something like that. One second.
Yeah.
I said, um, despite seldom seeing gravy, picture landslide in my way, like rice on a plate. Picture free flow like a sleigh,
Mm.
mental unconscious scheming in my way. A rocky life because ambitions in my face. Extra gravy making taste yet somewhat so dire, note to self needs replaced.
It's
Yeah.
really food for thought.
Huh?
It's food for thought for real.
Yeah. I sort of just kind of turn food into a mountain sort of thing. At least it would look like it, like a mountain of rice. But hey, you know, um, it all depends on your scope, how you see things. It's a matter of perception, you
Yeah.
know. So I thought it made sense to just use it to that degree. And I think people can relate because we all have to eat. We all, and rice is a delicacy that most people are fond of. So It just made sense. But of course, as you know, I'm alluding to mountains. I don't know. Maybe that's a theme that I've recently been exploring
Mm.
as a form of inertia sort of thing. And as you know, with mountains, the only way to dominate them is to climb them. So that's um that's where I'm at with it. So yeah, man, that piece. This line, personally liked it when I after I was reading once I finished.
Yeah.
It says to the rafters and back, and it's quite complex, so you probably would have to the rafters and back like a Roman cyclops sentry.
Oh, yeah. Break that down for the people.
So the Roman soldiers, they were actually called sentries or centaurs, Roman centaurs.
Yes. Rings a bell.
But I sort of kind of mutated the whole idea of a Roman centaur by making him a cyclops sort of
Mm.
thing. So Roman cyclops sentry. So that's where, and I just like the idea. So he's a soldier, yes, but he's a giant. He's a cyclops. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And again, alluding to mountains, right? I can't, like, that makes the piece, the name of the piece, so relevant now.
When did you write this?
Um, I think in the last 30 days or so, because it's one of the most, it's one of those. Whenever I bring a piece up, it's usually in the last, before it kind of leaves the recent where you can't scroll down and find it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay.
this is one of
Yeah.
the ones
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
scrolled down and I found it. So it's probably a couple weeks, close to a month or so since I wrote it. But I'm trying to, let me see if I can find the title because you know how I am with
Mhm.
titles. Um,
'Cause I'm a fan of, when you're somewhere and the theme alludes to what it is that um, it's just helping you figure out where you're at.
mm, yeah, no doubt.
So
Yeah, I wrote it on the 8th of December. An appetite is called Was There Any Doubt?
nice.
That was the name of it.
Mm. Was there?
Exactly.
I don't know what the any English lecturers out there, but whatever kind of question that is, yeah, I like them ones.
I'll give you four more lines. I'll give you four more lines.
Shoot.
In the mirror, looking like Scrooge, got to make sacrifices to be that dude. First come the dinosaurs, then comes the crude. Pressure birds pipes, so let me pump up the volume.
Ha. Yeah.
That's the next stanza that came after. But yeah, yeah, the 8th of December. Yeah, man.
Oh, month. Literally crazy
Literally, yeah. I guess it was one of those.
timing.
Mm. Here's a question for you, a bit abstract.
Mm.
What does it take to be something? Anything.
Will. Yeah, will.
What'd you say?
The will.
Will. That's what I was thinking as well.
Nothing.
You
Nothing
want to
else.
elaborate?
Um, yeah, let's try. Uh, the source of will again goes. It's filtered through that hierarchy that I'd love to mention. Um, because once you bypass the basic needs of being human, you're going to soon ponder about the quality of existence you want to have. And the quality comes with self control, accountability, and direction. All that comes with like heavily accepting what is no longer tolerable or the quality of distractions they have to change in order
Mm.
for you to get to where you want to go. And that could be lifestyle, um, how you want to represent yourself. And I was having this conversation earlier as well, mind you, um,
Okay.
about just um, the will to try. I think that's, yeah,
Yeah.
the will to try because um, I'm still in certain minds about what people argue about, what the strength of what stops them from taking that leap
Yeah.
because it's not easy. And you hear one person's always going to have another story to you, and
Yeah.
it's all about finding the energy to not even to getting through the day is one thing, like,
Mm.
and then you go home and then you got to find some more to, you know, do that or before work or whatever it is. It's not easy. So, but with that thing that you want to do, putting yourself out there, creating something, um, that comes from that will to um, put it out there. Oh, and you know what? I'll
Mm.
finish off with this. Um, Minister Farrakhan, I saw this clip last night, and yeah, it summed up where the island that I've been on for the past few months, um, and I believe he said, "There's no greater." Yeah, I just remember the full part of it. But he said, "Yeah, we can say this here. Yeah, shout out Farrakhan." Um, he said, "For a man, woman is not the source of pleasure. Creativity is. There is no other feeling from seeing something in your mind and bringing it into reality. Nothing like it." And whenever someone asks me about where they should go or what they should do when it comes to finding that something that will give them that drive to attain, to aspire, to practice, um, I always tell people ask yourself that question over and over and over again. Because if the answer wavers, that means you are cracking that shell to get further to seeing if the answer remains the same or not. And um, that's why I'm comfortable enough to say time and time again um, that story is the one that does it for me. Because people just look at the high that they get, but do you ever dissect where that high comes from? And most people don't. That's
Mm.
why I'm very quick to ask masters in their field, especially teachers, um, why didn't they, you know, do what it is that they inspired that individual to be that thing. Just, and then they get to that stage in their life, or life presents them with the tools to be the teacher, not so much the shining star. And that
Mm.
humbles me because it's not always going to be as simple as, I'm going to just be that guy in that position and that's it. Because some people who are in that position, who they give credit to where they are people who were always behind the scenes, or were positioned to be those great teachers. So, yeah.
Now that's interesting. I like where you went there. It's such a controversial thing being a teacher, man, for me, because on one side, you imagine the passion, etc. Like you said,
Mm.
why are you not doing it? But there's also this saying where you can't do, you teach. So it does beg the
Yes.
question:
Mm.
are teachers the ones that didn't make it, sort of thing?
Ooh. Aye.
But on the flip side, you can say that what, who's greater to be a teacher than somebody that can do it like nobody else can? That means you're setting pace for the next generation to be so prolific that we have no choice but to evolve, at least in this direction that this teacher is teaching you to go, sort of thing. The best of the best, sort of thing. But at the same time, knowing the world that we know it, that's not really that's not realistic, is it? That's not realistic. Unless there's proof of it, in a sense that you can play both sides, or you have the freedom to do what you still have the freedom to do what you love, and we can actually bear witness to this this monumental thing that you're this the mountain, like I said earlier on, that you're climbing, and again, nobody else can do it better than you can, sort of thing. But at the same time, like, maybe that's a thing of the past. Maybe we're just living. Maybe I'm speaking about two analogies that are so real, but of two different timelines, from two different periods. Maybe that's teachers of old that they couldn't do, so they teach because maybe that was the time they lived in, or maybe it's the flip of the coin. I don't know.
Yeah. I, and that's where I am. But I want to unpack what you just said right there. That time thing.
Yeah,
Ooh, Jesus. Um, I can only speak for the industry that I observe, and I think that rings very true. Um, and there's always that debate between the generations of, you guys have it so easy, um,
yeah.
because of the barrier to entry. Granted,
Mm,
absolutely true. And that's part of what makes it so hard to argue. But we are, I think, my generation's crisis is um, innovation and
mm,
true sayers,
yeah,
because um, it's been foretold already that the access to information will stifle many minds because of the struggle or lack of guidance to filter out what information is true and can set you on to help make the path clearer. Um, Whereas now, because there isn't that, no one to guide, or less of
yeah,
those who have already said, you know what, I've done my job. See you later. You lot think you'll know it all, so I will leave you lot to continue to know it all. Is the policing of it's like the information's put them in a cage, which is uh, which is very ironic. Like, oh yeah, we should do this, and um, it's like no, like truth is chaotic. It's meant to rustle. It's meant to ruffle feathers. Um, so if so, I'm in agreement with the fact that it's very hard to know how easy or how many more people should have been so and so made it, but I think the ones that shine through can't help but look at who was there before them making the attempts, and
Hmm.
also who had to just be the coaches. Some people are born to really just coach and but never play the game. But that eye is
Gifted.
super for them to even be in that facility to coach them. They made it.
Yeah,
They
that's the
were able,
Jordan
yeah.
complex right there.
They could look at the game and say, you know what, I've seen enough of the game for me not to know that I don't need to be in it to play it.
Mm,
But for the Jordans or whoever, the Timothys, the Leos, the musicians, they've had mentors. A great talent or a gifted person has to have a gifted mentor,
I agree.
and they
I
can come
agree.
from wherever. So, whew,
Let me unpack that. There's so much there with the that situation there. The situation with the coach, right?
yeah,
Normally, the greatest coaches are not the ones that play the game or had the ability to play the game at a high level, but for some reason, at least the ones that not necessarily being around greatness, but I think the ability to relate is their that's their strength because they can relate to the people that are not necessarily the greatest,
yeah,
and they can relate to the people that are like the juggernauts of the industry that they, for example, basketball sort of thing, whatever the discipline that they're coaching in, sort of thing. They have the ability to sort of kind of occupy both space between the greatness, the ideals of what it takes to be great, and being able to speak to them and them actually being open to dialogue and listening. And same thing for the more average or not necessarily average, but not as great sort of thing. Because I think if you make it to being professional, you best believe they're all talented.
yeah,
They're all talented, but
right.
there's levels to this.
There really is.
There's levels to this, and even some of the mans that you think are just chilling on the bench, man. Some of these mans were like some of the greatest things in their time during school or high
Yeah,
school or
yeah,
college. Like they got bloody awards, all kind of stuff at the yin yang sort of thing.
mm,
But again, there's levels to this, and it's like you said, more times than not, it's not necessarily the talent, it's the application. But you got to have the right coach or you have to have the right mentor. But not only that, it can't just be a great mentor, he has to have the right blueprint.
yeah,
They speak about what's his name again? Um, Phil, that coached the Lakers and the Bulls.
Hmm.
And the one thing that they always come back to is the triangle, and that was his blueprint. That was, and I hear so many NBA players speak about the triangle, that all started with pretty much he sort of kind of owned it if he didn't necessarily created it, and they're basically just saying that's the blueprint to winning championships. And I can't remember his surname. His surname for some reason. I just know his first name is Phil. Phil Jackson. That's it. No. That's not Jackson. Phil. Something else. Let me see if I can find him. Um, see if I can find it. Uh, I know it's just right there. Phil. Man, I was right the first time. It's Phil Jackson. I was right the first time. Yeah, Phil Jackson. Yeah. So he was supposed to be the guy that brought about triangle. At least the guy that really put it on the map, sort of thing. And from what I understand, according to like some of the greats like John Sally, according to him, like like for example, certain people that did could have won so much more championships, like even LeBron, despite the fact that he's got four, was the fact that what he never had a blueprint. He never had Phil because Phil went to Chicago, which is where he really enacted the whole idea of the triangle like prolifically with Jordan. He came away with six, and then he went to Lakers. Shaq and Kobe. Shaq left, but I think he got like two of them, two or three. Yeah, well, the three piece. So yeah, he's got three there, but but Kobe had five on the field, sort of thing. So I guess at the time the narrative was that LeBron deserved to be so much more, but he never had a great coach. For example, somebody like Phil with a great blueprint to showcase, put his talent, put his talent to great use to win at that pinnacle. Because as much as he's won, he hasn't necessarily had the best mentor or coach per se to kind of take it to that level. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's Pat Riley, but he wasn't necessarily coaching the team. He was more of a GM per se. So, and the other coach, I think he's still there. I can't remember his name, but he was still he was a young coach at the time when LeBron was in with the Heats with with what's his name, Wade. So it's a tricky time. So it was just one of those things that LeBron never necessarily had that. But I guess at the same time, what I'm speaking about is nature versus nurture. So going back to what you're saying now, when you're a great talent, if you're really looking to be something that just to gain accolade and just to make the climb that hill, you've got to have guide or a coach or a mentor, somebody. But it can't just be somebody that understands, and you've got to have a blueprint to give you the ability to get to where you want to get to, but not just get there. Avoid slippery roads, the scrapes, the bruises, to give you longevity, but also to give you efficiency, effectiveness. I believe Strings just left the room. Welcome back.
I don't even know how that happened.
I
But
would
yeah,
ask. I wouldn't know either. Yeah, just the effectiveness. So for me, when you said that, it's just there's so much to go into that idea of a coach or a mentor, and just the idea. Now, on the other side, you have the opposing, where you have the player that's not the great player, and then you have the great player. The thing with Jordan, and now he's a GM. Well, he was a GM. I think he sold his share, but at the time, for a long time when he was a GM, and he's recruiting players, etc. His problem is he can't relate to players that wasn't great, sort of thing, because he's just thinking, listen, you go deep that, and you're good. And then players are looking at him like he's speaking Chinese because, and they're English because they're thinking, well, I can't do what you're doing. You get what I mean?
yeah,
I can't just, I can't just jump in the air and hold myself for 3 seconds like you did and dunk it on somebody. No, I'm not that great. I can't do that. I don't even have that athleticism. You get what I mean? It's just,
oh,
it's a
no.
different lens.
A manager said that in the football terms as well. Sorry to just add on that. I just
Yeah,
remember
go for the
uh,
flow.
an Italian manager said yesterday or the day before that Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi could never manage. They should never manage football clubs um, because of how much they've accomplished in football. They will have nothing to obsess over about tactics, the way of the game, because of how well they've played the game.
Yeah,
They've just separated themselves again. So someone said they should just stick to ownership,
yeah.
and I
But
was like,
even then, it's still gonna be like it's gonna irk their nerve to see some of the things that some of their players are
yeah,
doing.
yeah. But at least from that, they won't soil their footballing career outside of the pitch by having these wild expectations from players, even though they do see the potential in. So, yeah, Whew,
Yeah,
that was something.
yeah, man. And I think sometimes a lot of people they think it's just the fact that it's just man, you retire and you change or you're not that person anymore. No, these people, it really started here. It's restarting their head. So a lot of times they're retired, but it's still the same they're still the same people. You're still the same person. So in line with what you said, yes, they are them type of people where like they're obsessive. So they want things to happen and they want it to happen now. It's just the way they're made. It's just your makeup and the athleticism part of it is just that's just fortune. You can still be that person without the gift. I would argue that's what you see in a lot of fans or people that are supporting, just on the sideline, just going crazy, want to fight just for you saying a bad word about a player that's for their team. It's just in them, and they love the game that much. They love the game that much. So it runs deep to me personally, man. So it's just so that's two. sort of a controversial thing, whereas there's so much things you can kind of speak about, where it's the teacher and the student, and then there's the coach and the great player, and the not so and the not so great. Well, the I guess you could call it the supporting player, or the game manager. That would be more football reference, but yeah, more the game manager sort of thing, you know. But again, even in that instance, great players make terrible game managers. That's what essentially that's what they said. Made it so hard for Jordan to win for so long because he wanted to do everything for himself. He wanted to do it by himself. And of course, Pippen wasn't there until I think the sixth or seventh year in. But at the same time, even when he was there, he had to get to a place where he was tired of losing before he started to really rely on Pippen. Do you get what I mean? So again, man, it's not an easy road. I think sometimes people forget the importance of rock bottom to a lot of people. I mean, like hitting rock bottom. Pause. But I'm just saying, in terms of, in the sense of, that's the best time anybody is open to change, or at least try something new. So it's a controversial thing, man. It's a controversial thing. Man, Strings, we've been cooking. How long we been on here?
Almost hour 10.
Yeah, I thought as much. I'm sure we went over already. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, just I think just to bring this to a close. Yeah, very powerful analogies about um, how to dictate just having the will to just play the game. Like, I think playing the game is the first thing, and then with that, the game will help you figure out what position to pick up. Um, because essentially, a great the one that's in the limelight, they
Yeah,
become great because of how they appreciate everyone that helps them to run the show.
correct.
And I really appreciate how you um, mentioned Jordan there with obviously his circumstances forced his ego to look outside of himself and say, wow, you know what, I do have great teammates. We can go the distance. It's the same thing with anyone in any field, realizing that, yes, they know they are the their name brings the tickets, it gets people to listen, whatever it is, but
Mm.
poor lighting, poor conditioning, poor tech equipment, all that, they won't be able to put on a good show. So, you know, you start to look at who's missing in the field and say, all right, who do we get is the best person to fill that role? And they'll gladly do it because they are part of that team.
Yeah, man.
So, yeah, man.
And you see some of these mans crying when they lose a championship. Like you see them balling.
Yeah, I would too.
I've known man them to actually cry when they ran a fast time.
Man,
Yeah, man. It's that serious. When you really want it and you get
yeah,
it, and especially when it's big. If nobody else, even if it's big to you, man, the emotions and most times you're not ready for it, sort of thing.
yeah,
If you're that type of person, you most likely see people cry. It just means so much. It just
And it
means so
should, and
much.
you should, because the journey should be that personal.
It should. Well, that's what it takes, you know. That's what it takes, and it's just an overwhelming emotion. It's just what it is, sort of thing. So, was there any doubt? Sure, there was
Yeah,
plenty of it. But in time, you know that it comes with anything. You just got to make it happen, no matter what it takes. It's as simple as that. How much do you really want it? Only advice: patience.
yeah.
That's patience, man. That's it. Patience. Yeah, man. It was some things were coming through strings, man. It was fun. I think we got carried away, and
Yeah, needed though.
no doubt, man, boiled over, and got a self cooking episode. I'm planning to start to share a lot of these episodes now
Okay.
on the podcast. I think it's time because we have so many great episodes that I think people on that side of things will would love to hear about. So um,
Do my part on my end too. But now bringing up in
exactly.
conversation, like, yeah, and you know, this is exactly why, um, I'm doing what I'm doing because it's like, you know, I'm in the space talking to people about, and I'm just like, yeah, look, I've done this on a platform where I am comfortable knowing it will live on the space and platform where, yeah, you can replay that a few times. And if you got any questions, let me know.
Yeah, man. That's what we're here. Why we're here. I might see what Alex is saying. He seems to I just haven't replied to him, but I
Okay,
did message him recently. Seemed like he's going through some stuff, so I'll see what's going on.
got you.
But yeah, he would be good to hear what he's got to say, you know. But it's not necessarily. We'll see, but for the most part, yeah, man, we do what we do, strings, man.
For
It
sure.
is what it is. But this is great. Thanks for coming through,
Appreciate
and
you.
cheers for everyone. Just support the platform. Books are out. Find them all on Amazon. Go get yourself a copy, and keep me posted on anything. But yes, for sure, support, comment, share your thoughts. I think the last one was a month ago. So people just give me more information, and even I'm actually open to topics as well, or things that you might want answered, either from strings or myself, and
Yeah.
we'll be happy to share whatnot. But yeah, this was good. Thanks everyone for supporting the channel as we go thus far. It's been a pleasure. Till next time, take care.
Peace.